Yo, 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 yo. What's up, what's up, what's up? And give up the rock. And hello to my fellow revolutionaries on this absolutely fabulous Friday. Friday. You know how it is. Now, this is a surprise Friday stream, to be honest. I really didn't think I was going to be able to resolve what I needed to in time, but here we are, and we're going to do a Friday Arvo sesh, Friday afternoon sessions with the revolutionaries, and so I'm excited because I love a Friday stream. I think it's one of the better streams of the week. You know, there's so much hype around a Friday in working class culture. It's just such an important day, the day before the weekend, the eve of the weekend, where we are free. We're free from the clutches of capital, and we get to just enjoy our existence. So 4AS is already doing the roll call. Yo, 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 what up, what up? Give up the surprise stream. We're doing a watch party of what peeps have been recommending. Yes, I think we should just do a watch party. There's some things that I wanted to do yesterday that I didn't get around to. Jungle Potatoes. I want to watch the Albo's UN speech. Let me know if you're still in the chat or if that was just you popping in earlier, Jungle Potatoes. Let me know if you're still here. We can do that. 4AS Sky News reactions are always fun. You could just do Rome Total War gameplay. Yeah, you'd like that too, wouldn't you, 4AS? I'd love that. Voltaire, yes, sir, dude. I just got back from a 3-hour hike. Perfect timing. Damn. Hey, I'm jealous of the New Zealand liberty, to be honest. I'm just going to hike in pristine New Zealand settings and just like rock up to streams. It all just falls together. Since when? You lie. Jerry Poppins, I swear, I would never lie to you, man. I wouldn't do that, baby. I just fixed some of my issues and I was like, you know what, let's test it. And so here we are. I'm testing it and everything seems to be holding up. So, let's do a watch party. I think 4AS has got the right idea. And I would like to do the Albo speech, but let me put it to you then, Master Jungle Potatoes. Shall we meld two together? Shall we get Albo speech, but like a Sky News version of an Albo speech? Let's see if we can do that, because that would be, the coming together of so many beautiful things, right? The UN, Albo, and Sky News. It's enough to make you cry, isn't it? Fucking need a shower though. LOL, smell like sweaty balls. Did I just get that, or did that actually get through? Isn't it interesting how the YouTube censor works, right? You can talk about your sweaty balls, but we can't talk about we can't name a politician or something like that. That's too scary, that is. But yes, before we get into anything, he needs to be checked. Out of control, I say. If I ever out of control, good sir. Yeah, before we get into anything, let's just do our usual housekeeping and Friday remarks. All right, I'd like to pay my respects to workers, past, present, and emerging. You know who you are. It's on your backs. It's on your back-breaking labor that the entirety of the modern world, everything that you see around you, has been made. If you can just look in front of you right now, that was made on the backs of people's labor, directly or indirectly. You could argue, so, okay, maybe a machine did that, whatever, but someone made the machine, and someone made the machine that made the machine that made the machine, etc., etc. Anyway, the entirety of everything that you see around you is on the backs of someone's labor. And so, as the most important class in human history, let's be honest, let's not mince words here. As a member of the working people of the world, just remember how important that is. And that's why we celebrate on a Friday, because it's the eve of the weekend, an important time in the calendar of working people all around the world. It is a time where we are supposed to be free from the clutches of capital. I know that doesn't actually exist for a lot of people, but it is ostensibly an occasion for working persons' freedom. Capital likes it too, don't get me wrong. It's a time that we usually do a lot of consuming too, and they love consuming. They love us eating up all of the value that is produced through the capitalistic system. But I hope you enjoy yourself and you get some free time. You run your errands, you do whatever it is that you need to do, catch up with people, or just do all, get sweaty balls like some people like to do. Whatever that is, tickles your fancy. I hope you have a great weekend. You've earned it. You've earned it. Ron's in the house. Dan has good translation. Danger Dan has a good translation of the Albo speech. Hi there. All my friends are working and all I want is a pub partner. See, I'm telling you, working people of the world. What's the plan today? We're going to do like a watch party and we're going to do suggestions. So we've already got a suggestion here. I'm going to start searching Sky News. Who's Danger Dan? Is Danger Dan from Sky News? That's the full thing? Or do we just want their analysis of it? That's the whole thing. Empty seats, Albanese. Oh, you guys can't see that shit. I've got the wrong thing on. Here are the options. Okay, actually, I'll let you choose. Do you want to watch the whole thing that Albanese does? And like it says in full Albanese address to the UN Assembly. It's probably got no commentary on it though. Or listen to this douchebag here. Sorry, you can't see him. The bearded douchebag that we've watched before. That guy. Do we watch him speak about how empty seats, Albanese's UN address shows world not paying attention to Australia? Savage stuff from Sky News there. Anyone have any mystery? Check my library on this channel now. Far more interesting than Sky. Oh, Love Jeff is in the house. Coming in hot. Hey, how you going? Hey, it's so hot. It's so hot right now. Do you find any good nuggets in the Jimmy Carr pod I guilted you into watching? I got to watch it for like 20 minutes in the background while I was working and stuff like that, or like working on something else. So I didn't go much further than where we were speaking before. I do apologize. But I'm going to continue watching that. I do not like that Michael guy, by the way. Michael Malais, or whatever his name is. He's a right fuck. He's like, just the way that he like talks to people that I've seen him interview, and when he doesn't agree with someone, he looks like a obnoxious fuck. But he was very doting over Jimmy Carr in that podcast, it would seem. But yeah, just my 2 cents. Yes, Paul Murray. You want to watch Paul Murray? I wonder if he actually talks about. Let's give Paul Murray a shot, and then like if he doesn't actually speak to what Albo was saying, we'll change it up then. Yalla, Paul Murray, bro.
Let's talk about the United Nations. As you know, this time last night, in great chapter and verse, I showed you one of the great speeches that's going to annoy all the right people, that, of course, being the President of the United States. Packed house. They could not find, well, an escalator that worked or a teleprompter that worked, but also no room. When he was speaking, every single seat, it is filled to capacity. Pretty obvious when you were watching that speech yesterday. There you go, bang, room full to capacity. Well, Australia's turn today, and wasn't the Australian media excited that our Prime Minister was going to stand exactly where the President did? He would take his place as a world leader at the UN.
Donald Trump called it a con job, but tonight Anthony Albanese has taken to the same UN lectern to commend global efforts to slash carbon emissions.
Australia might not be a global heavyweight, but Anthony Albanese has told the world our country can play a bigger role.
The Prime Minister has revived Australia's bid for a seat on the United Nations Security Council during his first Leaders' Address to the General Assembly.
I mean, this was a big deal, right?
All right. Slow the fuck down, buddy. All right. Just a few catch-up things. Like, yes, Albo did... I've watched the whole thing, and Albo did get in there and start speaking about how we can do more in terms of climate change and leading the world in that regard, et cetera, et cetera. He also did talk about, Australia getting a seat on the Security Council, which is huge, right? LOL Paul, get up higher. Yeah, I know. He's pretty excited, isn't he? So, yes, that's a big call. Australia getting on the Security Council, but like, why not? Why the hell not? Especially if we're going to be such a big player potentially in between two massive superpowers over the next, 50 years. It's pretty strategically located between China and the US. And the Security Council is obviously not working at all because America just vetoes everything. Like the UN has been completely impotent when it comes to like dealing with Israel. And it's just because Americans like, and just knocks everything out all the time. But like, I don't know if we're going to get much of the Albo actual. Yeah, it's just gonna be all his commentary about Albo. Anyway, let's give it a shot, just for you, LARPed Jeff.
And in fairness, this happens every time an Australian leader stands up in front of the United Nations, which is, it's big for us, not really a big global event though. For example, let's have a look at some of the attendance. How packed was the house when our bloke was talking?
This week, Australia recognised the state of Palestine because, to quote from the Charter, that forms the very foundations of this institution and reflects the very best of its idealism. We are determined, quote, to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war, to reaffirm faith in fundamental human rights.
Oh, hang on, you may notice there was no shots of the crowd. You see, that's what most people saw. That's what you saw on your 6 p.m. news. This is what happened from the very start of the speech when you actually pull the shot back a little and look at the empty seats.
80 years ago, the people of our nations came together and put their trust in each other's humanity. An act of faith all the more extraordinary when we recall the devastation that still gripped the world.
It is a wonderful reminder to every Australian leader and
So, like, I think the claim here is there's people getting up and moving around, right? It's people getting up and moving around. So, like, people aren't paying attention to, what do they call him? I think someone's used this phrase before. Chairman Albo. They're walking out on Chairman Albo. So it's like, that's absolutely disgraceful. Now, I'm going to ask my research assistant, but like, just keep in mind that there may be like 100+ of these speeches and it goes for days. So have you ever been to a convention of this style? Things kind of roll on and people kind of come in and come out as they please, I guess you would say. And like, people are usually there for the opening number. They come in and out for the stuff that they like. It's a fucking marathon. It's an absolute marathon. Everyone gets to have a crack. So yeah, Chairman Albo, there it is. So like, I don't know if that's truly representative of the fact that the entire world is turning its back on Australia, because you can see people in the foreground getting up and shuffling around in their seats. But like, the propaganda is hard. And this guy, we can learn a lot of lessons in propaganda, right here. Ask me whatever you want. Wait, what's going on? I'm missing stuff in the chat here. You look like someone who just asked him if he wants another piece of birthday cake, and he's all like clapping and stuff. Yeah, I know. Fuck me dead. Oh my god. All right, let's see where he's going with that. No, I'm going to ask my research assistant. Let's do that. Just to see if this is unusual behavior or not. And like whether we should consider Albo a failure just on this ground or not. I want to be able to judge Albo. Let's judge him. Currently, the UN is undertaking its 80th General Assembly, and it appears that there are a number of speeches that are being taken by world leaders. Can you confirm how many world leaders are going to give an address at the General Assembly, and how long does that take to go through all of the registered speakers? The 80th session general debate, the period during which the heads of state, heads of government, ministers deliver speeches, runs from the 23rd to the 29th as part of High Level Week. All 193 UN member states plus the observer states are expected to take the floor during the general. A notional and voluntary time limit of 15 minutes to help schedule all speakers efficiently. And didn't like Trump speak for like 45 minutes or something like that? It will include up to 193 members. How long does it take to go through the registered speakers? If you have a 15-minute speaker consistently to cover 190 speakers, that would require about 195 times 15, so 2,925 minutes, which is 48.75 hours of speaking time. It's spread over 6 to 7 days. Just for context, we're listening to someone criticize a world leader because people are not sitting and watching their UN address. They're moving around, and reportedly, many of the seats are empty. Considering the amount of speakers and how this unfolds over time, are people usually there for all 48 hours of UN addresses? That criticism makes sense only if you don't know how the UN General Assembly actually works. No, delegates, world leaders and staff are not present for all 48 hours. The general debate runs over about a week with multiple sessions per day. Delegations are only expected to be present when their own head of state and government is speaking, close allies or key partners, or when topics of direct national interest are discussed. Interesting. But it's, don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. And he's onto something here, this guy. He's definitely onto something. Hey? I've been to a big corporate convention for a big company I used to work for. I just sat there drawing the whole few days. So funny. No surprise from Paul Murray there. Yeah, I guess. But like, he didn't even show the whole thing. He's just showing those people walking around in front. I thought he was going to zoom out and like the whole thing was going to be empty. I'm like, damn, that is savage. Poor Albo.
Happens to every Australian leader who is there. We're a big deal for us, right? And we're the best country in the world, no question. Love this joint. Never have a go at it.
Love this
But
joint.
a little reminder that maybe we are not as big as sometimes we think and sometimes our own media make out. Another example?
And that is why Australia is seeking a place on the UN Security Council in 2029-30. And it is why we are bidding to co-host the 31st Conference of the Parties with our Pacific family.
Again, that's probably what you saw on the 6pm news, which was, he could pull a crowd of his own ministers. Did you also notice that the communications minister was there? I thought that the Optus Triple O thing was the single biggest story in the world. No. The minister who, of course, the Minister for Sport, the Minister for Free Stuff, as I've shown you before, was desperately needed in the US, despite the fact the Triple O system was apparently the major issue. Whatever. Stop nitpicking, Paul. Is there any other examples of just how many people were not paying attention apart from the people who were paid by us to be in the room?
This is a place for the global spotlight to shine on suffering and struggles that might otherwise be forgotten, and for the international community to work together to advance our shared interests.
Oh, that's cruel. Again, every Prime Minister, right? This is what happens to all of them. But because the Australian media is also excited, Australia discussing taking our place as a world leader, reality is echo. Like, it's like giving a speech of the Three Sisters or the 12 Apostles. Not a lot of people there. Perhaps my favourite of all of the cutaways today, just pay attention to how excited the Papua New Guinea delegation was. Now, for whatever reason, they were in the front row. And just last week, the Australian Prime Minister, on the behalf of the Australian taxpayer, promised $100 million to build a ministerial wing, to put an extension on the parliament. So this guy is bringing the cash, bringing the football team, hoping for closer defence ties, but hardly bringing, what's that word? Well, I prefer to just show you.
More than ever, we must work to see the promises of this place deliver real progress for the people that we serve.
Play it again. Just that one again.
I didn't get
know,
the joke.
Every Prime Minister, it's not a Liberal Labor thing, it's not an Albo Turnbull thing, right?
Is it because they didn't look like they cared, the Papua New Guineans in the front? Is that why?
How excited were they from Papua New Guinea? Again, we're building an extension to their parliament, helping pay for a football team. That's all part of the soft power. We want to kind of merge the defence teams.
More than ever, we must work to see the promises of this place deliver real progress for the people that we serve.
Oh, wow.
I've seen the whole of his speech. I don't think he's even taking a cut from the right part. He's speaking about the idea of serving your constituents when you're elected to government. I don't think he was even talking about the Papua New Guineans at that point. It's an inside joke. We aren't smart enough to understand. Yeah, but he's taking a cut from the wrong part of the speech. Like, if they're sitting in front of center and they look bored, like, at least cut from the right part. Australia should unilaterally withdraw from the UN, but now that we're recognizing non-existent states, then I won't be holding my breath. Why do you think we should get out of the UN? You don't believe in the UN? Like, one of the things that we saw of yours this time last week, Ron, said that the UN was a construct of Zionist Jews who backed both the Axis and the Allies during World War II. And so the UN is a Zionist world government or something like that. Is that why? Has it got something to do with that? The UN is a disgusting organization. Yeah. The only 2 non-Australian countries had representatives in that shot. Yeah. Almost every country has a representative. I would say that's a bad crowd. I wouldn't say that's a bad crowd. And Dr. Nathan, he's acting like it's a big deal. It needs to get that it's not that one that no one cares about when we have to say. No one even thinks about us most of the time. It's not a bad thing. We can do a lot more with that attention than with a massive spotlight on us. Yeah, it's interesting. He's having a crack though. He's got to work with the material. But like, you know, I don't know. I've seen the speech. I think he's cut the wrong part there. Oh, they probably just done it on purpose. It is propaganda, let's be honest. I guess I shouldn't look too much into that. It's probably stupid. All right. I can't do any more of that. I'm sorry. Like, do you guys actually want to watch the whole Albo speech? Is that what you asked for that, Jungle Potatoes? Do you want to see what he has to say? The UN is global communism. Fuck, I wish, Ron. I wish. What do you mean by global communism, though? Just mean because it's like a world government, so it's communism is when the government does stuff, like kind of thing? Is it that type of rhetoric? I guess it's probably that. Get back on the sugarcane juice and calm down, Paul. You love Paul. Love Jeff. Don't act like you don't. I know he's your favorite, or one of your favorites. All right, I don't know if I can do any more Sky News though. I'll look for Albo highlights. How about that? Yeah, it's always the whole thing. They got the whole thing here. Nah, it's just going to be cuts of him talking about Palestine. All right, fine. I'm going to watch it. But I'm going to turn it up.
Found the courage, the wisdom, and the compassion to work together for a better peace. To build a world governed by rights and rules, not fear or force, where the sovereignty of every nation is respected, the essential dignity and equality of every man, woman and child upheld, and where the shared mission and purpose of the United Nations is not merely to contain the threat of war, it is to create the conditions for peace, to provide a framework for settling our disputes, to foster the dialogue that enables us to manage our differences and deepen our understanding, and to nourish the opportunity, build the prosperity and deliver the economic justice on which true and enduring security always depends. If, 80 years ago, this task had been entrusted to the great powers alone, then in all likelihood we would not be gathering here today. Instead, history would note the United Nations as little more than a noble experiment. The reason this institution has endured is because it belongs to all of us, because it has been built and shaped by all of us. And it is up to all of us to bring new strength to the United Nations' enduring mission, to renew our commitment to the principle that peace is both our common cause and our collective responsibility. The creation of the International Rules-Based Order owes much to the post-war leadership of the United States of America. For the region Australia calls home, that stability has underpinned a generational economic transformation.
He had to mention America. He definitely had to, kiss the boots kind of thing. Albo sounds better at 1.5 speed. Yeah. Like, some people sound like really, really lucid and astute in their language when you speed them up a bit. Like, damn, they just speak so well. Yeah, his speech was bland, and I agree. That's a good thing. Yeah, it's just a typical bourgeois speech, right? There's a problem with the UN and how capital can be given to private entities, taking profit from funding people receive. But despite that, it still do some good and provide services. I think what it does do is it generally monitors the world kind of thing, like monitors world affairs and writes reports on stuff. So individual nations can't really hide behind problems like we've seen recently with Israel, is that Israel are just no, we can do whatever we want. And the world's kind of no, stop it, please, please. And they haven't done anything. But the UN have officially come out now and call what they're doing genocide. So no one can turn around and say, oh, I don't know, man, maybe they have a right to do what they're doing. It's no, okay. We all got together at some point and agreed that this type of thing was genocide. We've looked into it. It's genocide. So they can't hide behind rhetoric. And so now Israel is more emboldened, I think, than it was before. Before it was kind of oh, yeah, we'll take the ceasefire option and can say things like, oh, we're not starving the Palestinians. We're trying to give them food, but it's Hamas that keeps stealing it. Or they say things like, no one treats, civilians better than the IDF. And some people might buy that because, well, maybe it's just the media that are not reporting things properly. And then the UN will come out with a report and it's just look, we spent a lot of time on this, okay? And they did. They took way too much time. If they actually, their purpose is to prevent genocide, not just report on it, but their focus is actually preventing genocide. Taking 2 years to write a report is fucked. It's fucked. But that's just bourgeois culture right there. At least they do things like that. They monitor situations. I don't think they actually do anything of impact, intervene. I don't think they actually do anything like that. But at least they monitor things. And you can use that to call bullshit on world leaders that go rogue. That's pretty much it. Albo is dressed for his daughter's wedding, though. Not a fan of that tie. Yeah, that seems to be a problem for you. He's white. Maybe it's because he's a virgin. And that's why he's wearing white. Just like Nick Fuentes is a virgin. According to our friend, the Groypers. We'll listen to Zelensky's speech instead. Ooh, the Zelensky speech. You know what? I was really impressed with the Finnish Prime Minister's speech. That was a good speech. David Graeber even says in The Dawn of Everything that administration was for equality's sake, even though people assume it was for accumulation purposes. Should have just been wearing an Aussie flag tie for shame, Chairman Albo. Yes, how good would that have been? UN funding goes towards its four main operational areas: development assistance, humanitarian assistance, peace operations, and the global agenda. Humanitarian assistance and development assistance, collectively known as UN operational activities for development. Hell, even the Philippines president was more fiery. Promised troops. I thought that was the Indonesian president, and he was just like, "We are ready, and we're going to send 20,000 people to Palestine. I've got 20,000 troops. They're ready to go. So you just say the word and we're on," like kind of thing. Hamas started October 7 and still yet to return the hostages. Only commies see it as genocide. But like, even if that's true, Ron, that they started October 7 and they still haven't returned the hostages, that doesn't preclude Israel from being like committing genocide in Gaza. Just because they've got hostages doesn't mean that like they haven't wiped out 60,000 people as the official reports go, but 680,000 as we've seen from people that are experts in calculating this stuff. I think both of them have, but I saw the Philippines president's speech. Ah, okay, right. Yeah, that was crazy. We should watch that, actually. Let's watch that really quickly. Let's see if I can find that. That was hot. He's so hot. Calling in the troops. We're ready to take him because he wants to fight off
Hey guys, introduce
fight for the rights of the Palestinians. And I'm assuming like as a Muslim nation, they want to like help out. Because I think the Indonesian Muslims have always kind of had a chip in their shoulder and been like kind of
prosperity and dignity.
Have kind of been like disregarded a lot by the Arab Muslim world as not being like proper Muslims because they're not Arabs. And so they're always ready to kind of like, you know, show the Arab world how hardcore they are as Muslims and like how much they want to help out and all that sort of stuff. And so like this is probably like, hey, we're ready. We'll send troops and we will help our Muslim brothers and sisters dying in Gaza if nobody else wants to do it.
And when the United Nations Security Council and this great assembly decide Indonesia is prepared to deploy 20,000 or even more of our sons and daughters to help secure peace in Gaza or elsewhere, it is indeed a great honor for me to stand in this August General Assembly Hall among leaders and representatives who represent almost all of humanity. We differ in race, religion, and nationality, yet we gather together today as one human family. We are here first and foremost as fellow human beings, each created equal, endowed with unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yes. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Bloody hell, these guys are proper like Democrats. That speech was. They believe in freedom. Your speech, Mr. President of Indonesia, invites respect from all over the world. It's a great speech. I wonder how many people were in the crowd for that one. Boots on the ground is what I want to hear. Subianto, good on you, Subianto. Yeah, so that's it. So he was calling hard for it, right? And why not? Eh? Why not call out for it? Ha, he said what now? LOL, I'm a dirty commie bastard. Based. I think both of them. Okay, so the Filipino president did it as well. All right, so who else was it that they like people said they wanted to see? Okay, this is the speech I saw, but the video must have been mislabeled. Yeah, this is the one I saw anyway. This dude. And this is on the African News Network. Isn't that interesting? It didn't come up on any other Western sources, on my algorithm anyway, but it came up from like an African source. So just like somebody tell the people of the world what's going on. And like you'd think like Indonesia's our closest neighbor or one of our closest neighbors. And like we don't care about what they have to say, right? Come on. Who was the other suggestion people had for watching? Oh, Zelensky's UN speech. Yeah, let's do that. Why not? I wonder if it was any good. I just have seen him like talking outside in other UN things, like other meetings and stuff like that. Oh, standing ovation, hey? Paul Murray's not gonna be happy with that. Oh, it's on Sky News as well. Yeah. No, let's not watch that one. Oh, it's from the United Nations official channel. All right. Let's go right to the source.
The Assembly will now hear an address by His Excellency Volodymyr Zelensky, President of Ukraine. I request protocol to escort His Excellency and invite him to address the Assembly.
His Excellency, eh? The esteemed.
Dear leaders, dear friends, and all those who can become our friends, because you want safety and peace just as much as we do.
He's not wearing his Under Armour gear this time, is he? Eh? He's formally dressed and in black. I don't think I see a tie there, Jerry Poppins. You got any comments on that one? Or maybe he has a black tie on. I can't see.
Today, no one but ourselves can guarantee security. Only strong alliances, only strong partners, and only our own weapons. The 21st century isn't much different from the past. If a nation wants peace, it still has to work on weapons. It's sick, but that's the reality. Not international law, not cooperation. Weapons decide who survives. Excellencies, you know perfectly well international law doesn't work fully unless you have powerful friends who are truly willing to stand up for it. And even that doesn't work without weapons. It's terrible, but without it, things will be even worse. There are no security guarantees except friends and weapons. No Ukrainian choice this kind of reality. And knowing
there's no security guarantees. What a line. There's no security guarantees but friends and weapons. What a sick line that is.
Our people, they would have chosen a different priority.
Friends
Ukrainians are peaceful
and
people, but they are people who want to live freely in their own independent country. That's why we invest in defense. For many nations, there is simply no other way left. Nations can speak about their pain from stages like this.
Look at that. Look at that. Do you think that there are more people there? Like, I guess there are more people, yeah. But it's not it's not a crowded house, is it? No? Paul Murray. Who would have thought? But you didn't think that was possible, Larp Jeff, did you? Paul Murray might skew it. He looks like a DEI pick for Slytherin. That's fucking hilarious. That is so good. Where do you come up with that stuff? A DEI pick for Slytherin. It's so good. I'm guessing you guys prefer Russia to NATO. I know I certainly do. Ooh, what the? No way. Oh, yeah, I guess if you are in fear of world governments and stuff like that. But like, don't you hate commies? The Russians are like, you know, they're the ancestors of the Soviet Union, right? It's hard to pick what side of the fence you're going to fall on, Ron. I must admit. Comments on the lack of people at Albo's speech. Right, okay. Again, I don't see like what the concern is in terms of numbers of people hanging out. Doesn't look like a full house.
Bloodshed. There isn't a single international institution that can truly stop it. That's how weak these institutions have become. What can Sudan or Somalia or Palestine or any other people living through war really expect from the UN or the global system? For decades, just statements and statements. And even everything happening in Gaza remains without a way out. Even now, Syria, after all the changes, still has to appeal to the world to ease the sanctions that are choking its economy. It has to ask and wait. Syria deserves stronger support from the international community. And as Russia's war against my country goes on, people are still dying every week. Yet there is no ceasefire because Russia refuses. Russia abducted thousands of Ukrainian children, and we have brought some of them back. And I thank everyone who's helped. But how long will it take to bring all of them home?
Squibblicious, welcome.
Slips away faster than adults are able to help. Look at Israel. Nearly 2 years have passed, and hostages still haven't been freed. They must be freed, but even that still hasn't happened.
Oh,
and for years,
Russia,
there
not
have
happy.
been no real answers to other threats, either chemical weapons and famine used as a weapon. Last year, at this assembly, I warned the world about the risk of radiation disasters, especially due to Russia's occupations of our Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, the biggest in Europe, but nothing's changed. Nothing's. And yesterday, the plant went into blackout again, and Russia hasn't stopped shelling even in areas near a nuclear facility. And because of international institutions are too weak, this madness continues. Even being part of a long-standing military alliance doesn't automatically mean you are safe. Just recently, 19 simple Russian drones violated Polish airspace, and only 4 were shot down luckily, they were not shaheeds or even worse. Otherwise, the results would have been horrific. Estonia had to call a UN Security Council meeting for the first time in history because Russian fighter jets deliberately entered its airspace. Moldova is defending itself, again, from Russia's interference. We have helping Moldova, and Russia's trying to do to Moldova what Iran once did to Lebanon. And the global response, again, not enough. We have already lost Georgia in Europe. Human rights and the European nature of the state system are only shrinking there. Georgia is dependent on Russia. And for many, many years, Belarus has also been moving toward dependence on Russia. Europe cannot afford to lose Moldova too. It's important to remember how the world once ignored the need to help Georgia after Russia's attack and how the moment was missed with Belarus.
I love how they keep showing the Russians. Like, what are they going to do? They're going to start booing? I didn't even notice there's people in the stream chat. I'm sorry. Avalava, yo, yo, yo. And after 3 hours, Mr. Reed did awake. Give up your round clicks for this rising star. Will Israel attempt to assassinate a Palestinian official at the UN? Oh, could you imagine? Huh? We got them where we want them, boys. They're all converging in the UN General Assembly. Mr. M History. Does anyone know this creator? I haven't watched the video yet, and it might be too long for the stream, but it seems interesting. Yeah, this one comes up in my algorithm as well. I think we've all been pinned because this is someone who's like an affiliate of FJ. I was being told yesterday, chairman of the court. This is Mr. M History. Were we ever friends? Australia and Israel. Putin is a fascist. NATO is Vatican. NATO provoked Russia. There you go. I think that's the Avalava line. You and Ron should have a little chat. Avalava, I think you're on the same page on that one. Did they provoke them with actual strikes in Russia's territory? This is 2025. No one should be invading anybody. Yeah, you know what? Fucking fair call. I think that's a really, really good take on that whole thing. This is 2025. I thought we moved past this as a global community. Any UN arrest warrants about to be announced? I don't know. I know Mr. M History. Interesting channel. The problem is that NATO agreed not to encroach on Russian borders, and the admission of Ukraine to this pact is flagrant. Up yours to this. Interesting. Oh, this one's dividing the stream. Very interesting. I like his videos. There you go. This is what we were speaking about yesterday afternoon, just before we started speaking to a groiper. That was sick.
Moldova must not be lost. And for Europe, supporting Moldova's stability is not costly, but failing to do so will come at a much higher price. That's why the EU needs to help Moldova now with funding and energy support, not just wars or political gestures. We must not forget about protecting the rights of people and the rights of nations in regions where these rights are under threat. The UN Charter and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights must apply everywhere. But the Taliban in Afghanistan dragged a whole country back into the dark ages. Cartels in some Latin America countries are more powerful than the government there. This is all about collapse of international law and the weakness of the international institutions. And so it's about the rise of weapons. Weapons decide who survives. Excellencies, yesterday President Trump stood right here in this hall, and God saved him from a murder attempt during the campaign. A shot was fired from a rifle, and just a fraction of an inch saved his life. Just days ago, President, along with hundreds of thousands of Americans, honored the memory of Charlie Kirk. Sadly, his life was cut short by a bullet. Once again, violence with a rifle in hand. We also mourn the Ukrainian woman, Irina Zarutska. She was brutally killed with a knife here in America, the very country where she was seeking refuge from Russia's war. And almost every day, when we open the news, we see headlines about violent attacks happening all around the world. Most of it is done with weapons. People are already used to, but weapons are evolving faster than our ability to defend ourselves. Now, there are tens of thousands of people who know how to professionally kill using drones. Stopping that kind of attack is harder than stopping any gun, knife, or bomb. This is what Russia has brought with its war. It used to be that only the strongest countries could use drones because they were expensive and complex. Now, even simple drones can fly thousands of kilometers. War tech doesn't care about geography anymore. It's now reshaping it. Just
I think that's a really good point, what he's making right now. That like warfare at the moment, it's all being tested in places like the Ukraine and like Yemen recently. Where else? But like the point he's making is really, really important. The drone technology used to be something that was kind of reserved for the big boys, but like everyone's getting their hands on it now, and it's completely changing warfare, like completely as up, like just like it doesn't really matter if you have an aircraft carrier that's worth, hundreds of millions of dollars, or you've got these missiles that sit on a fighter jet that are worth, $100,000, $500,000 a pop. And if someone else is, making these drones now that can drop a payload of like, hundreds of kilos worth of bombs, and they can make that for like 20 grand, and the stuff you're fighting it with is like a jet that holds missiles that are worth, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And those missiles themselves take, they take a long time to manufacture and produce. So it's not like they can just, be popped off the assembly line, off the production line, and you've just got yourself more missiles. It takes ages for them to be produced. But the drones, on the other hand, hey, like you literally can now just put existing bombs and just put them into the sky now with like a really cheap and unsophisticated drone, and it's changing warfare massively. And the arms race that's happening between like Russia and the Ukraine, and like everyone's kind of just watching to see how it, like they're playing that cat and mouse game. One day Russia has got the edge, like a slight edge with their drones, and then the next day, the Ukraine, they've got the edge, and they're slowly, creeping into Russian territory now with strikes and all that sort of stuff. It's back in the day, it was about who's got the biggest stuff, who's got the most expensive shit. That was seemingly the difference. But if you can just send a fleet of drones out and overwhelm someone's missile defense system with cheap shit, then warfare's never going to be the same. Like, it's not surprising that the US is pulling out of all these places, because soon you're not going to need much gear at all to like take things out, like prominent things out, very, very, very easily, or at least make them redundant and out of action for a while. Warfare is becoming more democratized in that sense, thanks to this drone tech that he's speaking about.
recently, airports in Europe had to shut down because of drones. Authorities couldn't even say what kind of drones they were, who sent them, or from where. Last week, North Korea announced the test of a tactical strike drone. That means even countries with limited resources can now build weapons that are dangerous to their neighbors. Ukraine and nations like Saudi Arabia know all too well how dangerous Iranian attack drones are. But what happens when all the types of drones become available, even to small terrorist groups or cartels? The world moves too slowly to protect itself, and weapons move fast. Now companies are already working on drones that can shoot down other drones, and it's only a matter of time, not much, before drones are fighting drones, attacking critical infrastructure, and targeting people all by themselves, fully autonomous, and no human involved, except the few who control AI systems. Dear leaders, we are now living through the most destructive arms race in human history, because this time includes.
Did you hear that? Like, I got to agree with him. Like, soon it's going to really come down to the artificial intelligence that's in these drones, and basically who controls the technology, the software that goes into the hardware. And that's the point of techno-feudalism. That's the point of the style of surveillance capitalism that we have been analyzing for months now. The scary part about it, and it's like a tale as old as capitalism itself. Who owns the means of production? The means of production in a techno-feudalist surveillance capitalist world is controlled by the tech bros and companies or corporations of that ilk. And if they're in charge of the software that moves the hardware around and the hardware is redundant when that software isn't working, or they can just switch it off, you know, okay, they might, like, the warfare, the world of war is going to be changing forever, but whoever owns this software and can control this software is going to be a really important player. Israel has just recently been cut off by Microsoft in one of its endeavors. I can't remember what the program is called, but a few years ago, Israel got Microsoft to use one of its systems to collect all of the phone data that comes out of Gaza and the West Bank, like all of it, like every single call, text message, whatever, is able to be captured by the technology that Microsoft has. And Microsoft was hired by Israel to do that job, and then basically crunch that data with its AI. So it's got analytical AI services, and it was crunching that data, and like calls of interest were then sent off to, I don't know, Mossad, the IDF, whatever. But like Microsoft, because of internal pressure, people protesting, and like the general kind of global vibe that Israel are not good to deal with anymore, Microsoft has cut Israel out of providing that service. Now, it's not as black and white as that. It's not just like, oh my God, Israel, like this is an example of how the tech bros really own everything and they could just shut entire countries down and their security operations. They could just turn it off, literally. I think what is happening is, yes, Microsoft is pulling back because of internal pressure from staff and like I guess people protesting generally. But then Amazon is coming in and they're going to fill that space. So some other tech bro is just going to come in and like make that technology happen. But here it is. It's going to be drones, autonomous drones that are going to be making decisions. And so right now, the biggest conversations I think that should be happening at the UN, honestly, are like agreements about what to do with AI warfare, or things that are powered by machine learning and artificial intelligence. Like, what are the rules of the game before a decision is made about taking a life or, you know, striking something? Does it need a human in the loop? I think that is one of the most fundamental questions of our time. Human in the loop when it comes to AI warfare. Because if what he's saying is true, that in the struggle and that cat and mouse game that happens between two countries that are competing against each other on a war front, but it's not just like, you know, who can dig the best trench anymore and hold this position because they've got the best hardware. It's about who's got the best software, and that software can act independently. You know, you really got to be like, the UN's got to be getting people to sign up to say things like, okay, we're always going to have a human in the loop before they decide to kill someone using a drone or something like that. Jungle Potatoes, so aggressive. The future is where robots suck my dick. Yeah, so people don't like the clankers in this chat, man. My God. Need new EMP technology. So that's the thing, right? With like all of that type of technology that blocks radio signals, all of that, it's interference generally. So it takes out everything. And it's hard to get around this type of stuff. Squeeble me pink. I see a legend in the chat. And it's been a while since we've seen some Squeebalicious here. Welcome back. And it's for a Friday stream as well. Welcome back. But yeah, scary stuff. I'm not going to go through all of this because I've just seen something that's caught my eye. I really want to see this.
Assembly will hear an address by His
Large numbers of delegates leave UN General Assembly as Netanyahu speaks. I wonder if this is true or like Paul Murray style propaganda.
Excellency Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of the State of Israel. I request protocol to escort His Excellency and invite him to address the Assembly. Order, please.
I wonder who all the people are giving the standing ovation. Order!
Order, please.
Well, these people are
Whether
bad.
we bequeath to future generations a blessing or a curse, Iran's Shiite militias in Syria and Iraq have targeted Israel dozens of times over the past year as well. In major military operations, we destroyed nearly half of Hamas's, nearly. We won't rest. And evil is portrayed as good. We see this moral confusion harm's way. We spare no effort in this noble pursuit.
I don't know, man.
President Mahmoud Abbas.
It seems to be generally that like there's not a lot of people around for all of these speeches, right? Look at his address. He gets a 55-minute address. That's what I'm saying here. In full, Benjamin Netanyahu addresses the UN. He's got 55 minutes of speaking. I guess you can judge the nature of a character and a country even by how long their world leader thinks that they should take up everybody else's time when the time limit is 15 minutes. My God. Ads, send him to Hague. Worky work. Yeah, you've been busy. Nah, not in that way. In the sex robot way. Okay, right. Starlink, turn off the drones. Yeah, and Starlink went down recently. And so, like, apparently the Ukraine was a bit screwed over by that on the front because they get their stuff from Elon Musk. Remember the nuke and the USA to a stance not to recycle used nuclear fuel to set the precedent for making no more plutonium. Takes countries saying we won't do something. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if we're on the same page here, I'm saying this is where they shouldn't be spending their time having like all these conversations about how ineffectual the UN is and how it had a dream and it's not living up to its expectations of world security. They should be sitting down and talking about fucking AI and how that's going to be used in warfare and whether or not people should be making decisions like people have always done in warfare, humans making decisions about whether people live and die, except instead of machine learning doing that. That's what they should be spending their time on. I would not want a pint with Paul Murray. Andrew Bolt, on the other hand. We destroyed Hamas while 90% of the dead are innocents, like women and children. Yeah. True on lots of historical microaggression. I like how he puts... Oh, Dilemmas is in the house. I didn't realize you were in there. I like how he puts the little flair on Hamas whenever he says it, just to remind us dumb Westerners that he's not saying hummus. That's hilarious. Volts, I'm convinced Mossad funds Hamas. Wow, that's a big call there, Ron. And you didn't even get that one through the censor. Wow, you can't say Hamas, I guess. I guess people are getting censored heaps. All right. That's enough UN banter for one day. I've seen enough of the UN for now. But like, go check out the Finnish Prime Minister's speech. It's epic. And like, he speaks about how he would fix the UN as opposed to just whinging. Like, everyone I've seen so far has whinged about how the UN was set up for a particular purpose and it's not living up to its purpose. And the Finnish Prime Minister actually says, like, this is how I should do it from now on. How we should do it from now on. We should have everyone on the Security Council. And if anyone defies the UN Charter, they should be stepped down from the UN Security Council. Like, America wouldn't exist on the UN Security Council if that was actually a rule. That if you violated the UN Charter, then you weren't allowed on the Security Council. It's not going to happen. Mossad is watching. Zelensky really got into AI at the end of this speech. Oh, really? Like, he did speak about it more? I guess we can... I should let him speak a little bit
kilometers. War tech doesn't care about geography anymore. It is done with weapons. People are already used to... But weapons are evolving faster than our ability to defend ourselves. Now, there are tens of thousands of people who know how to professionally kill using drones. Stopping that kind of attack is harder than stopping any gun, knife, or bomb. This is what Russia has brought with its war. It used to be that only the strongest countries could use drones because they were expensive and complex. Now, even simple drones can fly thousands of kilometers. War tech doesn't care about geography anymore. It's now reshaping it. Just recently, airports in Europe had to shut down because of drones authorities couldn't even say what kind of drones they were, who sent them, or from where. Last week, North Korea announced the test available even to small terrorist groups or cartels. The world moves too slowly to protect itself, and weapons move fast. Now companies are already working on drones that can shoot down other drones, and it's only a matter of time, not much, before drones are fighting drones, attacking critical infrastructure, and targeting people all by themselves, fully autonomous, and no human involved, except the few who control AI systems. Dear leaders, we are now living through the most destructive arms race in human history, because this time includes artificial intelligence. And if there are no real security guarantees except friends and weapons, and if the world can't respond even to old threats, and if there is no strong platform for international security, will there be any place left on Earth that's still safe for people? We need global rules now for how AI can be used in weapons, and this is just as urgent as preventing the spread of nuclear weapons. We need to restore international cooperation, real working cooperation for peace and for security. A few years from now might already be too late. 10 years ago, war looked different, and no one imagined that cheap drones could create dead zones, areas stretching for dozens of kilometers where nothing moves, no vehicles, no life. People used to imagine that only after a nuclear strike. Now it's drone reality. Mass-produced, simple drones, and without AI yet. Ukraine doesn't have the big fat missiles dictators love to show off in parades, but we do have drones that can fly up to 2,000-3,000 kilometers. We had no choice but to build them to protect our right to life. Control over the sea used to depend on having a big navy. Ukraine doesn't have a big fleet, but we succeeded. In the Black Sea, we pushed what's left of the Russian navy into remote base. And we did it with sea drones. That's how we protect our ports and maritime trade routes, because Russia has left us no other choice. And our Spiderweb operation, when cheap drones destroyed or damaged dozens of expensive Russian strategic bombers, became a real example for special forces around the world of what new weapons can do.
Do you hear what he's talking about here? I don't know if you've heard about that. Friends and weapons, LOL, you got eaten neither, mate. Savage. Now, have you heard about this operation that he's talking about? So there's some airbase deep inside Russia as well, like, you know, well away from the Ukraine front. And they somehow got a truck with a container on it into Russia and parked it in proximity to this airbase where all of their bombers were hanging. And they, like, basically the top of the shipping container that's on the back of this truck just like opens up, and it was filled with like hundreds of drones, and they all just kind of flew out at one point when they were activated, and just like flew straight into all of these bombers and just wiped out this entire airbase full of really expensive and strategic Russian bombers that have been flying in over Ukraine, like dropping bombs, you know, destroying critical infrastructure and logistics, supply lines, etc., etc., etc. But like, that was it. They just needed to get one truck in behind enemy lines, and the Russians were not able to detect it at all. It was this massive operation. It took like a year of planning or something like that. But like, that's the future of the warfare he's talking about now. You know, all these bombers are nice and they cost a lot of money and they're nice and showy, but you know, one truck full of hundreds of drones has done way more damage than, you know, anything that like they could have done like outside of that with like some special ops team or some covert operation flying over. Like, it would have been so much more difficult to pull off and dangerous for the people involved. But this time, like, the truck driver didn't even know what was going on. They just were told to park somewhere at some point, and they did, and it activated itself. The rest is history. So that's the type of stuff he's speaking about, the future of warfare, and yeah, the big players with these impressive militaries and all this impressive equipment can be made redundant very, very quickly, and it only takes a few to get through these systems. It really just takes a couple to get through, and all that sweet, sweet Black Sea gas, yeah. Amazon Delivery 1 to Russia was several pretend. Oh, there was several pretend ones to throw them off. Okay. And for the cameras, has footage of it so they can sell it afterwards to other world players. Oh my God. You Marxists are all about cultural and moral relativism. What's going on in the chat? You guys having a philosophical discussion, are you? Or is it just you, Ron?
To old systems. These very Russian bombers attacked our cities. And none of this would have happened if Putin had not started this full-scale aggression, full-scale war. And every year that this war goes on, weapons become even more deadly. And only Russia deserves to be blamed for this. Dear leaders, to protect lives, Ukraine builds underground schools and underground hospitals. To protect lives, we have to spend more on protecting power stations from drone and missile attacks than on building sports facilities or cultural infrastructure. Ukrainian farmers are learning how to protect their equipment from Russia's FPV drone strikes, and for them, that challenge is far greater than climate change. Russia's war has put us in this situation, but do you have protection against similar threats? The facts are simple. Stopping this war now, and with it, the global arms race is cheaper than building underground kindergartens or massive bunkers for critical infrastructure later. Stopping Putin now is cheaper than trying to protect every port and every ship from terrorists with sea drones. Stopping Russia now is cheaper than wondering who will be the first to create a simple drone carrying a nuclear warhead. So we must use everything we have together to force the aggressor to stop. And only then do we have a real chance that this arms race will not end in catastrophe for all of us. If it takes weapons to do it, if it takes pressure on Russia, then it must be done. And it must be done now. Otherwise, Putin will keep driving the war forward wider and deeper. And we told you before, Ukraine is only the first. And now Russian drones are already flying across Europe. And Russian operations are already spreading across countries. And Putin wants to continue this war by expanding it. And no one can feel safe right now. So first, we are now building a new security architecture for ourselves. More than 30 countries are already part of our coalition. And we are strengthening our army, launching joint weapons production with partners, and defining financial commitments for defense in a way that could become a security model for any other nation. If security guarantees work for Ukraine, something more than just friends and weapons, it will mean that people were able to make national security not a privilege for a few nations, but a right for everyone. Second.
All right, that's enough from you, Zelensky. Fair enough. I thought the Futurama warfare would be against AI Furbies. Look at America, can always say they won't do something. That the CIA can just do the bad thing and pretend they didn't. Just blame Russia. What is this neocon propaganda? TSA is a good example for not just ban IGA thing, but monitor. If they get rid of Putin, the next guy will be even more hardline. Yeah, it's not a bad point, actually. Very interesting. All right. Shall we move on? I want to see if there's other stuff that I wanted to watch this week in this crazy, crazy stream. Yeah, I think I wanted to watch this, actually. Yeah, this one. So we move to what happened yesterday. So if you weren't in the stream for the afters session yesterday, well, I was just chilling out playing Rome Total War. We had a visit from a Groyper. A dude by the name of Groyper Bro came into Twitch and started answering questions about Groyper culture. So if you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about right now, Groypers are a section, a faction within the right-wing or Republican movement, the right-wing movement, I guess you would say, within the US, and they are staunchly opposed to Charlie Kirk, and they don't think Charlie Kirk is hardcore enough. And so Groypers were involved in this thing called the Groyper Wars, when Charlie Kirk was kind of undertaking one of his culture wars, tours and going around the country, and the Gropers were rocking up to these tours as right-wing pundits, and they were putting pressure on Charlie Kirk and making him answer questions about things that they thought he wasn't hardcore enough on or more conservative on. And so we got a visit from a Groper the other day. And of course, Tyler Robinson has been accused of being a groper by some people. And the groper that we were speaking to yesterday was vehemently denied that and said that that's all like, I think he said it was Jewish propaganda, that this person was a groper. He's definitely not one of them. He could be someone else, like someone who's just, chronically online or disturbed or something like that, but he wasn't a groper. And so I want to just give you some context and just quickly have a look at what the actual difference was between general Charlie Kirk loving people and the more conservative or more hardcore version of the culture that has like helped bring in like Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA, the more hardcore variation of that culture. And this is where like a very small snapshot of how Ron, Tyler is a commie. Everyone's a commie, Ron. Come on. Gropers are Nazis. Nothing to do with the right. Well, no, that's arguable. I think you can make a pretty good case for why Nazis are right wing. Like you could definitely make that case. So what do you care anyway, Ron? I thought you were an anarchist. So anyway, this will give you a quick snapshot, I think, into basically the difference in that culture there. And I wanted to watch this earlier in the week when it was more relevant, but like I do want to see this again. It's only like the first 10 minutes of it or something. But like have a look at this. This will help you understand how, I guess, complex the factional differences are within the Charlie Kirk universe and like the right-wing echo chambers out there. Hey. Music selection so far is pretty good. I'm convinced that the work by Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk will win back the future of America. Donald J. Trump Jr.
So I have a question. So from America First perspective, why do we give $3.8 billion to Israel, which is more aid than we've given to Africa, more aid than we've given to South America, and more aid than we've given to the Caribbean combined, which is home to 1 billion poor people, especially when they deliberately attacked the USS Liberty in the 1970s.
That is incorrect. Do not peddle conspiracy theories in our event. That is not acceptable. Do not say that.
Okay, Dean Rusk disagrees with you, and he was the Secretary of State at the time, but that's fine.
I never myself accepted the Israeli purported explanation. Accidents don't occur through repeated attacks by surface vessels and by aircraft. It obviously was a decision taken pretty high up on the Israeli side.
That is incorrect. Do not peddle conspiracy theories in our event.
A lot of it, we believe, was covered up. That it was an intentional act by Israel to sink the ship with all hands, no survivors.
That is incorrect. Do not peddle conspiracy theories in our event.
They shouldn't be called an ally. They don't deserve it.
Why do you think they would have bombed the ship?
Their next plan was to attack the Golan Heights. So the troops they had on the Sinai now had to be moved to take the Golan Heights. The fact that the Israelis were massacring Egyptian troops, Egyptian prisoners of war. They had so many of them, and once again, they wanted to move all the troops they could to the Syrian border, and they couldn't handle the Egyptian prisoners of war. So they massacred them.
That is incorrect. Do not peddle conspiracy theories in our event.
George Ball, the brilliant and courageous Undersecretary of State at the time of the '67 war, wrote about the attack on the Liberty subsequently. He said, "The ultimate lesson of the Liberty attack was that it had far more effect on policy in Israel than in America. Israel's leaders concluded that nothing they might do would offend the Americans to the point of reprisal. If America's leaders did not have the courage to punish Israel for the blatant murder of American citizens, it seemed clear that their American friends would let them get away with almost anything.
All right, slow the fuck down. Where's my research assistant? Can you explain what the USS Liberty was and how that relates to Israel? I'm trying to understand some history, and there seems to be some speculation about what happened with this naval vessel. Okay, here we go. Yes, the USS Liberty incident is one of the more controversial episodes in U.S.-Israel relations, and here's a breakdown. The USS Liberty was a U.S. naval technician research ship, essentially a spy ship equipped with signal intelligence. It was lightly armed and not meant for combat. The incident, 1967, June 8. This was during the Six-Day War when Israel fought Egypt, Jordan, and Syria. The US was officially neutral, though it leaned towards Israel politically. Israeli Air Force jets and Navy torpedo boats attacked the USS Liberty off the Sinai Peninsula. Israeli aircraft strafed the ship with rockets and cannon fire. Torpedo boats later launched torpedoes, one which struck, causing heavy casualties. 34 U.S. crew members were killed, 171 were wounded, one of the most severe losses of life on a U.S. Navy vessel outside of declared war. Israel quickly apologized, saying it mistook the Liberty for an Egyptian ship. They claimed the fog of war, poor identification, and confusion led to the attack. The U.S. accepted the apology. Many in the U.S. military and intelligence community did not accept Israel's explanation. Survivors, Liberty crew members insisted the ship was carefully marked as American. It was flying a large American flag, was visible in clear water. On multiple attack runs, the critics argue the sustained nature of the attack makes it unlikely to be a mistake. President Lyndon B. Johnson administration chose to not press the issue, prioritizing strategic ties with Israel over pursuing accountability. The incident remains a source of anger among survivors and critics. Okay, so remember when we were they attacked us. So I was actually going to ask what the chat thought about this, because I've heard of this incident as well, and I didn't think it was a conspiracy theory. I thought it was documented quite well that Israel has attacked the Americans in the past, and like nothing was kind of done about it because, you know, it's Israel and they can do whatever they want. And so like I didn't know that that was a conspiracy, but like you can hear Charlie Kirk in that footage there. He's just like, you do not peddle conspiracy theories here, as in like Mr. Champion of free speech, Mr. Debate Lord, who just wants to encourage young people to speak in an open forum, in the marketplace of ideas, when he is confronted with information that is contrary to his typical rhetoric, his typical agenda. He's just like, that's a conspiracy, shut the up. Do not say that shit here. I think it's an incredible insight into the real world of Charlie Kirk and the operation that he was running, like let alone, you know, what it says about him potentially being a protector of Israeli interests in America. Outside of all of that, it really just shows that the narrative that has been built up post his death about him being some champion of, like, you know, politics and like the freedom of expression and all that sort of stuff, it's just rubbish. These guys are purposely trolling this guy, Charlie Kirk. They're purposely trolling him because they know there's irrefutable evidence that shows how the Israelis are not to be trusted for the Americans, and they shouldn't be worth spending billions of dollars on. And like, why do they get free treatment over other places that America provides aid to? I didn't think it was much of a conspiracy, the whole USS Liberty thing. But like, I would like to know what people's thoughts are on that. Yeah, they attacked it. U.S. Liberty is a wild story, says Ron. They shot an American journalist, if I'm not mistaken, before October 7th. Yeah. More like the Marxist place of ideas. Charlie Kirk, you mean the guy who met his wife on a flight back from Tel Aviv? Dun, dun, dun. Oh, wait, where is your balanced reporting? Where is your one nice thing to say about Kirk for every one naughty thing? Well, like, I've been saying things about him that are kind of nice. But, like, I also don't like the whole construct that has been built after his death about him being some champion of free speech. He was a champion of the culture wars and dividing everyone and, like, driving a wedge between people. But, like, these guys, these groypers, and we had one in the chat yesterday, these groypers, they don't like Israel. They don't think America should be spending billions of dollars supporting Israel. And, you know, you got to give it to them. Fair enough. Like, if the rhetoric really is make America great again, and they're cutting things like USAID, and they're prepared to cut, you know, make massive cuts to American, like the social safety net, like Medicaid, you know, food stamps in America, like cutting hundreds of millions of dollars of stuff like that. But they're more than happy to give, you know, billions of dollars to Israel. And for what? Like, when they constantly do things and not only agitate everybody on the world stage, but like they directly contradict American foreign policy and American interests. Like, why would you bother supporting someone like a group like that? And these guys, their mission is to go out and like and troll Charlie Kirk. And so he would have been pissed off with these people. That's for sure. Now, one thing that was really interesting that our Groyper bro friend alluded to yesterday was, you know, he said, look, I'll take fault. I'll call out the faults of the Groypers if you want. And there have been Groypers that have taken the trolling thing to the next level and called in bomb threats at Charlie Kirk events to stop them from happening. So just remember that as well. When you're listening to people speak in the culture wars and they're like, oh, you know, like you hear Trump or you hear JD Vance or you hear Stephen Miller saying stuff like, you know, they shut Charlie Kirk down. They tried to violently shut Charlie Kirk down when he was speaking and doing tours and all that sort of stuff. These people, these Groypers were doing the exact same thing. They were calling in, bomb threats and threatening Charlie or trying to get him kind of, not deplatformed, but they were hustling him hard. So it's not just this lunatic left stuff. There seems to be infighting, factional differences, and they have the same agendas, which is to stop Charlie Kirk from spreading his nonsense around the place a little bit. Notice how all the shootings have been with bolt actions and not AR-15s since USAID got shut down. I'm just saying, I don't know, you're just saying, can you give some more light to that wild conspiracy there? What does that mean? Very American first thought with the culture, with that culture at the moment. Yeah, well, it's supposed to be very American first. Actually, it's subversive Marxists driving the wedge. Come on. Groyper Wars was like 5 or 6 years ago. Well, just shows you the interesting factional differences and like the people that were threatening him, because they've made a big point of people that were, you know, trying to deplatform Charlie. And it doesn't seem to be just lunatic lefties. I think it's an interesting... The Groyper War never ended, man. Never actually finished. It never leaves you, man. Anyway, thought that was interesting. I'm not going to go any further than that. But like, I wanted some context on the Groypers and what they actually are up for. And the Groyper that we were speaking to yesterday, Groyper Bro, he was also saying that Charlie Kirk was platforming gays. And he had this guy called Ron Smith on, a black gay conservative and a veteran. And Charlie Kirk was like kind of saying things like, oh, yeah, it's okay to be gay. And the Groypers were like, no, it's not. It's not okay to be gay. Charlie Kirk has lost his way. If he's really Christian, he would understand that homosexuality is immoral and needs to be kind of cleansed Jesus will show them the path, all that sort of stuff. Like, in all fairness, and like I just want to accurately reply or reiterate what he had said. He said he loves gay people in the same way that Jesus loves everyone, and he thinks that they need help. So like he was saying, I don't hate gay people and I want them to die. He's saying they need to be saved. So he was coming from a place where he thinks he's justifiably, I don't know, looking out for them or something like that. So it comes from a place where he thinks he's helping, as opposed to him just wanting to wipe them off the face of the planet, which is an interesting take, but it was a very interesting conversation. So I've got a video coming out tonight, and if you want to see the cut version where I've just taken the cuts from the Groyper, then keep your eyes out for that this afternoon. Because I think it's interesting getting that opinion, because this person definitely doesn't think that they had anything to do with Charlie Kirk's assassination. Like I have heard people speculate on that he was a Groyper, and it's because of things like the Groyper Wars and the differences between Charlie Kirk and this Nick Fuentes' followers, that it's quite possible that it was one of these guys that popped him, where this guy was like, no, it's not the case. Now, Fuentes has been doing the rounds on right-wing podcasts. Russell Brand did an interview with him recently. Russell did his usual thing of rambling about the same shit before he gets to his point. Most of the political shootings had been with semi-autos and ARs. The USAID got shut down, and now it's old bolt actions. Almost like USAID was supplying resources for deep state operations to sow discontent. So that's where you were going with that. God damn. Dilemmas. That's crazy. Oh yeah, that sounds like a good vid. Yeah, it was an interesting chat. So and he answers question live, and he's got some strong opinions, let's just say. Nazis and Catholics justify themselves in authoritarianism. But yes, he is definitely a Catholic. He definitely said that, our Groyper friend from yesterday. And yeah, he was on Patrick Bet David the other day. Yeah, he's been on the rounds a lot. If anything, this whole situation, Charlie Kirk being assassinated, has been wonderful for Nick Fuentes. It's really just parachuted him, shot him in to, notoriety. Everyone's speaking about him now, and where he's really at, or what he's really up to. So yeah, the language was definitely Groyper. Yeah, the stuff that he was saying, oh my God, definitely interesting interpretation of the world and how things truly are for this guy. Oh, the comments on that video were nuts. All right, so I guess we're going to do afters now. Actually, there was one other thing that I did want to watch, and I didn't get to this week. And this is a contribution by Voltateur, actually. Forgot about this. Let's have a look-see. So this is every Nazi symbol explained by a German. So we've been speaking about Nazis a little bit recently, neo-Nazis primarily. But I think it would be good for us to get kind of across some of this symbology. Like, I've always wondered exactly where they come from and what they all mean and stuff like that. So, let's have a look, because like this one is very interesting, isn't it? Like that's the socialist fist, pretty much. Where there's like a little indentation there, and it's slightly arranged, I guess, with different levels of detail. So maybe there's changes there. We'll have to see what the actual symbology means, but let's see this one. Yeah, every Nazi symbol explained by a German.
The hooked cross, or Hakenkreuz in German, became the infamous Nazi symbol in 1925. His party's The hooked cross, or Hakenkreuz in German, became the infamous Nazi symbol in 1925 when Hitler finalized his party's image. A black swastika rotated 45 degrees set inside a white circle on a red background. These colors echoed the old German imperial flag, denouncing the black-red-gold flag of the Weimar Republic, while the swastika itself was twisted into a racial emblem for Aryan supremacy. The formal Nazi symbol was an eagle atop a swastika with two versions. The Parteiadler faced left and represented the Nazi party, while the Reichsadler faced right and served as Germany's national emblem. The eagle originated with the Holy Roman Empire, which copied it from the Roman army's eagle standard, symbolizing strength and unity. Over time, it appeared in the coats of arms of the Teutonic Knights and the Kingdom of Prussia, becoming a symbol of German unity before the Nazis modified it. However, Hitler didn't invent the swastika, of course. He stole it. It had already appeared in Germany in 1907 on the flag of the Order of the New Templars, an Austrian nationalist secret society. But the swastika is much older than that. It has ancient roots in India, where it represented good luck and well-being. The word swastika comes from the old Sanskrit language, meaning conducive to well-being. Across Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism, it's a positive spiritual symbol. The swastika also appeared in ancient Greece for Zeus, in Rome for Jupiter, and in Norse mythology for Thor. Native American tribes like the Navajo and Hopi used it as a good luck charm. Even the US 45th Infantry Division had a swastika shoulder patch. Despite its global history as a symbol of positivity, the Nazis' 20-year use has left a lasting stain on the symbol. The double victory rune, or...
Isn't it amazing how many different cultures have used it as well? That's fucking mental. I posted this video in Long Listening about the Nazi occultism came from. Interesting off stream, as it's just a guy talking to a screen. Yeah, I saw that. I haven't looked at that one yet, but I definitely wanted to have a look at this one. We also watched a video on Masonic symbols, then say how really they rule the world. I think Ron would appreciate that. You should do that with Ron. Squib.
Doppel-Siegrune in German was the iconic symbol of the Schutzstaffel, short SS, meaning something like Defense Corps. Designed in 1933 by SS Commander Walter Heck, it featured two Sig runes side by side, resembling lightning bolts. The design carried a double meaning. It symbolized both the initials of the SS and the rallying cry "Victory, Victory." The Sig rune, originally the Sowilo rune from ancient runic alphabets, traditionally represented the sun. However, Völkisch mystic Guido von List reinterpreted it into his pseudo-runic Armanen system to mean victory. The Nazis adapted this reinterpretation for the SS, which became the regime's paramilitary arm and a key agent of surveillance, terror, and atrocities across German-occupied Europe.
Key paramilitary, eh? Interesting. That is really interesting, because there's a bit of a paramilitary operation going on in the US at the moment. I think you could argue, or make a case that ICE is currently being used as a private army, a paramilitary. It's got extraordinary powers, like you can take people off the street, so it's spreading terror, and, you know, they don't even really identify themselves. Most of them wear, like, you know, stuff that covers their face, and they're being used as a, you know, private military for the whims of the president, really. At the federal level, they've got federal authority, and they can come into various states and pick people off the street and throw them in detention centers. That's like more of an objective way of putting it. You could just call them concentration camps if you really wanted to. It's interesting, the playbook there. Paramilitary force used for surveillance and terror. Like, it's very interesting, right?
Of surveillance, terror, and atrocities across German-occupied Europe. The SS Death's Head, or Totenkopf emblem, originated in Prussian military tradition. First associated with the Prussian Death's Head Hussars, an elite cavalry unit, It was also worn by members of the German imperial family. During World War I, it appeared as a regimental badge and was later adopted by the Freikorps, paramilitaries opposing communism in post-war Germany. Under the Weimar Republic, the 5th Cavalry Regiment retained the Totenkopf, continuing its imperial cavalry heritage. In the early Nazi period, it was used by Hitler's personal bodyguard unit, the Stabswache, which evolved into the Schutzstaffel. The SS adopted the emblem for their caps, especially for their Totenkopfverbände unit, which was responsible for the Nazi concentration camps. Nazi Germany's regular army also used it as a badge on uniforms. The wolf's hook, or Wolfsangel, is a heraldic symbol originating in medieval Germany and eastern France, inspired by wolf traps used in the Middle Ages. The symbol features a Z-shaped hook, often stylized with a central horizontal bar that can be reversed or rotated. In its early use, the wolf's hook was thought to have magical powers and was believed to ward off wolves, appearing on medieval banners and town seals in forested regions of Germany. In the 15th century, it even became a symbol of German liberty and independence, associated with peasant revolts and the 30 Years' War. During the Nazi era, the Wolfsangel was adopted by Nazi groups, particularly used by the Waffen-SS and their divisions. Today, the symbol is especially linked to neo-Nazi groups like the Aryan Nations, who have used a variation of the wolf's hook, replacing the crossbar with a sword. Rune symbols. The SS runes were...
Fuck. Hey, it's all coming together now. My God. I've seen some of these things around. This is crazy.
They're esoteric symbols used by the Schutzstaffel from the 1920s to 1945, shown on flags, uniforms and other items. They represented aspects of Nazi ideology and Germanic mysticism, as well as virtues idealized in SS members. Some of the key runes were the Odal rune, representing heritage and land. It symbolized the SS's goal of maintaining racial purity, notably used by the 7th SS Volunteer Mountain Division. Today, it's linked to white supremacy and used by groups like the American National Socialist Movement or the Italian National Vanguard. Next we got the Eif rune, a version of the Eivas rune. It was used by Hitler's personal adjutants like Rudolf Hess. The Hagal rune symbolized unshakable faith in Nazi philosophy, featured on the SS Honor Ring, a personal award from Heinrich Himmler, the leader of the SS, given to senior officers. The Life rune. This symbol was used by the Lebensborn program, which supported SS families and other Aryan groups. It represented racially valuable families. The Death rune was the inverted version of the Life rune, used by the SS to symbolize death on documents and grave markers, replacing the traditional cross symbol. And finally, the Tyr rune was associated with the god Tyr and war, symbolizing military leadership and battle in SS ideology. The Iron Cross originated as a military decoration in the Kingdom of Prussia and continued through the German Empire and Nazi Germany. Its design is derived from the insignia of the 13th century Teutonic Order. During World War II,
Isn't that interesting? You see this one a lot. This one's really, really crazy. How to get a population deeply embedded into an ideology? Yeah, right. Yeah, and racially valuable. That's interesting. They've got it all. They're covering it all with symbology. Incredible. And taking it from their history. That's very fascistic. Like the Italians did a lot of work like that, trying to make sure that they could incorporate the Roman symbology, Roman mythology as much as they could into their fascistic ideology, to blend to bring everyone together. It's mental.
the Nazis modified the Iron Cross by adding a swastika on the medal. After the war, the medal was discontinued but later adopted by neo-Nazis and white supremacists as a hate symbol. In the US, the Iron Cross became popular among outlaw bikers and skateboarders in the post-World War II era as a symbol of rebellion, but also in logos for various companies. As a result, the Iron Cross is now also used in non-Nazi contexts, especially in the US, but its meaning can vary. The Celtic Cross, originally a form of Christian cross with a ring, emerged in Ireland, France and regions evangelized by Irish missionaries in the 9th to 12th centuries. However, the symbol was once again hijacked. In the 1930s and 40s, the symbol was adopted by Norwegian Nazis, and in more recent years it has become a staple for neo-Nazis, the KKK, and other white supremacist groups. But they use a squared version of the Celtic cross rather than the traditional elongated Christian design. This version is now widely recognized as a generic hate symbol disconnected from its original context. Broken Sun Cross. This is a variation of the sun wheel, whose origins trace back to prehistoric times and cultures from Scandinavia to India. Typically an equilateral cross within a circle, it was a Bronze Age symbol representing the sun, life or spirituality in many traditions. However, its version with broken arms, resembling a curved swastika, took on ominous connotations within Nazi symbolism. The Thule Society, a proto-Nazi occultist group active in the early 1900s, adopted this broken sun cross as their emblem. They linked it to a supposed pre-Christian Aryan origin, claiming that the German people descended from ancient advanced civilizations like the Hindu, Persian and Greco-Roman cultures. This was part of their broader pseudo-scientific narrative of Aryan superiority, with the sun cross representing this mythical lineage. The symbol was also embraced by the German Faith Movement, a Nazi-era religious group that sought to replace Christianity with a belief system rooted in Germanic paganism and Nazi ideology. The 5th SS Panzer Division, which operated on the eastern...
I wonder if that's part of the esoteric Nazi culture as well. Like there is an occult kind of style of Nazi worship, and they're called esoteric Nazis, and they really believe that like Hitler is like God, or like some type of divine spirit, I guess you would say, a divine being, and there's like a whole religion built up around it. And yeah, they, like a lot of these kind of totalitarian kind of ideas, ideologies, as you were saying, Squeeb, they have a particular need to use religious tropes, so like drawing from paganism, drawing from Christianity, things that unify people around symbology. But they also know that that's dangerous, because then religious leaders can then take away their power over their people, because they might speak badly about, you know, the Nazi ideology, speaking as Christians or speaking as pagans or something like that. And so it's really important for them to create their own religions or eradicate religion altogether, eventually just wipe it out, because it's like I said, it's a threat to power. So I studied pagan mythologies at uni, and so many European scholars hate how Nazis adopted of the oldest runic language. Yeah, very interesting. Ron says, and yet Mussolini had a Jewish girlfriend. Mystery, you have been through Marxist indoctrination and don't really understand fascism. Well, I don't know. It's just kind of called history. But I guess you could call that, if you think the entirety of world history has been whitewashed by Marxists, then, you know, I might have to agree with you there, Ron. Because, like, you know, history is written by the victor. So if you do believe that the entire world is some type of Marxist communist plot, then I'm sure you would see it like that. Historically, other cultures adopted symbols so they can get people to also adopt the ideology. Nazis seem to build on its own more than adopt. Its symbols have purity to them that aligns to the belief of purity. But it's interesting how they're not, like, the idea of being Aryan is kind of a drawback to this, or is it? It's a recognition that at a certain point in history there were certain important cultures that lived kind of pre pre-European history almost, and they're drawing themselves from the particular cultures that helped birth kind of the entirety of, I guess, the modern human race for the most part, from like a Western sense. And by Western, I mean anything outside of kind of China and Southeast Asia and North America, but like India, the subcontinent across throughout Europe is all kind of potentially linked to these primal groups of people that helped establish Western culture. And so like they're borrowing and they're acknowledging the fact that, like, you know, they're taking Indian symbols because they understand how far back potentially Western culture goes to the times of, you know, the Persian emperors, the Indian emperors, and like the high Indian civilizations. It's interesting that they go that far back though in terms of the symbology and the purity of it. Hitler ruined so many things: symbols, runic language, the chaplain stash.
And front also used the broken sun cross as part of their insignia. The Black Sun, aka the Sun Wheel or Sonnenrad in German, is another ancient.
I've seen some propaganda. It's not real. I'm sure it's not real. But of Pete Hegseth with that tattoo, the sun wheel on his chest. It's pretty funny, actually.
Symbol.
Mr. E, you don't think political labels are fake? Are the Tories in England conservative or socialist? How about the Republicans and the LNP? Is Labour truly a party of the working class? No, I don't think so. I don't know what your point is, though. Because I thought you were claiming that I don't understand how fascism works because I've had a Marxist indoctrination.
Opted by the Nazis. Originally found in the symbology of cultures like the Old Norse and Celts, the sun wheel has countless variations. In Nazi Germany, this symbol gained prominence through its association with the SS, particularly under Heinrich Himmler, who had it prominently displayed at Wewelsburg Castle, his envisioned spiritual hub for the SS. The version popular among modern white supremacists consists of two concentric circles with 12 crooked rays emanating outward, often in combination with other symbols like the swastika in its center. While the Black Sun has clear ties to Nazi ideology and is embraced by neo-Nazi groups today, similar symbols are used in various cultural contexts worldwide. Therefore, it's not always connected to Nazism. The triskelion is an ancient Celtic symbol with 3 curved or jointed segments spiraling out from a center. This one has various forms, including one that looks like a 3-pointed swastika or with curved lines and curlicues. While the triskele has ancient roots, the Nazis adopted it, and post-World War II, the South African white supremacist group Afrikaner Weerstandsbeweging used it in their logo. They replaced the swastika with a triskele resembling 3 interlocking 7s, which is now strongly tied to white supremacy. This 3/7 triskelion is often seen in racist skinhead logos like Blood and Honor and is a common tattoo in the scene. Number symbols. Neo-Nazis use numbers as codes, for example in graffitis or tattoos. 18 represents Adolf Hitler with A and H as the first and 8th letters of the alphabet. 88 stands for Heil Hitler, meaning Hail Hitler, referencing the Nazi salute with the 8th letter. 14 refers to David Lane's 14 words. He was an American neo-Nazi and founder of...
This is the thing that we spoke about like this time last week, isn't it? Someone brought this up. The 14 words. We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children. The 14 words. This is interesting. My point, mystery, is that the labels are fake and you don't see the GOP or the Tories as fascist, though. It's staring you in the face. Capital is an economic tool, not a political ideology. That sounds very Marxist. Again, I don't know what your point is, Ron. But yes, I agree. Capital is part of the economy. That's usually my line. Yep, that was me. Yeah, you brought it up. I think we were chilling in the afters and someone said something about the 14 words. And I was like, wait, what does that mean? What someone labels themselves doesn't always reflect the actual definition of what they claim they are. Yeah. I think you've hit it on the head, Jungle Potatoes. There's some beautiful symbols here. Like the Celtic stuff is just, it looks beautiful. And yeah, they've kind of ruined all of these symbols.
The defunct terrorist organization The Order. His slogans are popular among neo-Nazis and the alt-right. And then we got 111. This is a numeric code used by the Aryan Knights, a prison gang from Idaho. But there's also numerous other ones. The Atomwaffen Division logo. This features a Waffen-SS style shield with a trefoil, the radiation warning symbol. Sometimes it's surrounded by a garland, a common element in white supremacist logos. Atomwaffen, meaning atomic weapons in German, is a neo-Nazi group that began in the US in 2016 and became globally infamous for extreme violence, including murders and terrorism. The Aryan Fist, or White Power Fist, is an upright clenched fist symbolizing defiance and power. Originally a black power symbol in the 1960s, it was appropriated by white supremacists in the 1980s, replacing the dark-skinned fist with a white one, often used to signify white pride. Fasces. This bundle of sticks with an axe symbolizes power and authority. Originating from the Etruscans and adopted by ancient Rome, it represented a ruler's might. Over time, it became a symbol of government authority, appearing in heraldry, on US symbols like the Mercury dime and in Congress. In the 20th century, Benito Mussolini adopted the symbol for his fascist movement in Italy. In the 2000s, white supremacist groups like Vanguard America, Patriot Front, and the National Socialist Movement began using the fasces because it lacks the stigma of the swastika. The crossed hammers, used by the violent skinhead group Hammerskins, features two hammers over a cogwheel, often in the colors of the Nazi flag. They use this logo globally, with variations reflecting local colors or symbols. The Imperial German flag. This older flag from Imperial Germany is often used by German neo-Nazis as a substitute for the banned swastika. While the original flag had no racist or anti-Semitic meaning, it has been co-opted by...
Sorry, what are you saying? And so is Gates a capitalist or a socialist? Are you speaking to me or are you speaking to Squeeb? Oh, Squeeb89. Okay, right. Hell yeah. Back to Monkey. Holy shit, a Pink Floyd reference. You missed it. Hammer and the X next to each other are a no-no. Hammer or sickle, yeah. Yeah, I was wondering where they were going with that one. Interesting. And even the Aryan Fist, as he's described here, is a derivation of Black Power symbol. But I thought that was actually a symbol of socialist symbol, of like a working class symbol, actually. Ninja Nurse. So it's a faggot of sticks with an axe. Yes, yeah, because that's what a bundle of sticks is actually called. It's a faggot. Yeah, and so fascist, a fasces, is the symbol. But it's been used by so many imperial powers, that symbol. I remember the French using it during the French Revolution. So it's like an imperial symbol, I think.
By neo-Nazis in Germany, Europe, and the US to signal their ideology. The SA symbol, short for Sturmabteilung. This represents Hitler's brown-shirted stormtroopers, who were paramilitary forces used to intimidate opponents before and after Hitler's rise to power. After 1934, when many SA leaders were killed, it was overshadowed by the SS. Post-World War II, some neo-Nazis, particularly in Europe, adopted the SA symbol as other Nazi imagery was banned. The hammer and sword symbol was used by Strasserists, followers of a more radical, worker-focused form of Nazism known as Strasserism. This ideology, led by Otto and Gregor Strasser, emphasized revolutionary nationalism and economic anti-Semitism, opposing both communism and Hitler's version of Nazism. Strasserism found support within the Sturmabteilung but was purged by Hitler during the Night of the Long Knives in 1934, with key leaders including Gregor Strasser killed. The black front flag symbolizing Strasser's party is still used by neo-Nazis as an alternative to the banned Nazi flag. The Arrow Cross, or Cross Star, originates from the Arrow Cross Party, a Hungarian fascist party active between 1935 and 45. This party was aligned with Nazi Germany, promoting anti-Semitic policies and participating in wartime atrocities. In the decades since, the symbol has been adopted by neo-Nazi and white supremacist groups worldwide. In the United States, it serves as the logo for the Nationalist Movement, a small Mississippi-based group. The Spear of Phineas goes back to a 1990 book by white supremacist and Christian identity follower Richard Hoskins titled Vigilantes of Christendom, the story of the Phineas priesthood. According to Hoskins, this so-called priesthood consists of Avengers who commit violent acts to uphold racial purity.
Hey, the Avengers? Who would have thought it's linked somehow to this type of Nazi culture?
And God's law.
Economic anti-Semitism? We're just mashing words together at this point. Well, I guess if you believe that, Jews run the world economy or something like that, it makes sense to figure out a form of economics without Jewish people involved. Just like Marxists might describe a state of the world where capitalists are in control of the economy, and you try to figure out economics without capitalists around.
Taking inspiration from Phineas, an Old Testament figure who killed a fellow Israelite for marrying a foreign woman to protect Israel's purity. Despite the dramatized claims in the book, no organized Phineas priesthood exists. At least not officially. The idea gained brief traction in the mid-90s when individuals who carried out robberies and bombings in the US claimed to be Phineas priests. However, the concept is mostly symbolic and has become more of a meme among hardcore Christian identity adherents. The symbol is a P with a horizontal line running through it and serves as a marker for this niche ideology. Still, there are some photos of tattoos with this symbol. The crossed grenade emblem represents the Dirlewanger Brigade, a notorious Waffen-SS unit led by Oskar Dirlewanger. Known for extreme brutality, the brigade was involved in horrific acts during World War II, including suppressing the 1944 Warsaw Uprising. Dirlewanger's unit gained a reputation for sadism and atrocities even within the Waffen-SS. Boots and laces. In the 70s, skinheads in Britain adopted steel-toed work boots as part of their style, which became associated with violence. Racist skinheads often wear red or white shoelaces to identify themselves, with leather lacing common to avoid crossed laces. Some even get a tattoo with this symbol on their head. Thanks for watching, guys, and check out the channel for more videos.
Wow. That was crazy. Good suggestion there, Voltateur. I appreciate it. I feel like I've learned something today. I learn stuff every day. I think your understanding is... Oh, there's a separate conversation going on. I'll leave that. All right, we're gonna do the afters now. So if you guys want to hang out and continue your discussions about what socialism really is, or what Marxism really is, and all that sort of stuff, please do. I'm gonna chime in eventually as I catch up with the chat. We're gonna have a quick break, and we'll be right back. And then we're gonna be doing some Rome Total War gameplay and chilling for the afters. Who knows who's going to turn up this time? I can't believe we've had people from Nepal coming in, giving us updates, Groypers giving us updates. Who knows what's going to happen this time? All right, we'll be right back. All right, we're back. Let's do this. Oh no. I don't even think I can. This keeps happening. Doom, doom, doom. You want me to turn up the music for Rome? All right. Just for you. I'll turn it up. You want that Rome music, don't you? Yeah. Why not? Yeah, I'll turn it up a bit for you. Just for you. Squeeb89. Just for you. Let me arrange my window a little bit. Better. Better. My audio is quiet too, really? Hello, hello. Looks like it's peaking on my end. It's a bit peaky. Oh, let me fix up this screen. Let me put that there. And you guys can see it properly. Alright, I think that's working alright. Alright, so who's hanging? Who's hanging for the afters? Let's see what type of crowd we got going on here today. It's a bit delayed, this one. 4AS, I'm going to take Rome. If you're watching this, I know you've been waiting for this moment for a long time. But the I tried to do this yesterday and it crashed. So I don't know if this is going to be a thing or not. So the computer is not handling. No, it's not that delayed. It's really flashy. It looks horrible. I don't know how I'm going to change that. What can I change? The graphic settings, I guess. Quality, high, resolution, vibrancy, realistic, brightness. The gamma or the brightness looks really very high. Yeah, I know. I don't know what's going on because this screen looks normal, but wait, when it comes to the gameplay, I think it's just something that's fucking up with like Steam. Because like some days it's really fine. Like I didn't change any settings. The CPU's actually fine today. Like sometimes it's running hot and it's not even running that hot today. So I don't know what it is. I don't think you think it's my shitty laptop. Oh, where did you get that hammer? The hammer and the sickle. Is that hammer? No, hammer and hammer? Fuck. Did you just find Nazi symbology and put it in the chat? Squeebalicious. You get it. You're gonna get in trouble for that shit. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe if I restart the program, it'll be better. But I tried to do this yesterday and I got kicked out. I tried to attack Rome yesterday and I got done. Let's see if that happens again. Let's see. Attack Rome. Let's do this. YouTube censors hammer smile, but not hammer. Yeah, I know, right? Now let's see if it crashes. It crashes! Did you see that? I can't attack Rome. If I attack Rome, the game dies. What the fuck? You pay money to get your Steam game. This would never have happened back in the day if I was playing off CDs. Never have happened. Can't attack Rome. I hope 4AS watches this later. I might have to attack a different Roman then. See if that helps. Fuck that, bro. That's bullshit. Absolutely outrageous. I am deeply offended. I can't attack Rome. Try and put your graphics to the lowest setting. Okay. I'll give that a crack. I think the game is trying to... Oh, hammer and pick minor ideology. Yeah, I think the game is trying to tell me that I shouldn't attack Rome. I think that's what's happening here. I'm not allowed to take Rome first. Take 30 to 60 minutes just to get game to run from disk, because I'm trying to hot boot it and share the disks with 3 other PCs, or buy a better potato. I don't know all your references there. I'm sorry. This is like tech references to something. Prob's Steam issue. Yeah, it's really annoying. I've sent a report to Steam, but like it's just, yeah, attack Rome and it dies. Lame. Lame. I might have to attack someone else then. I've been gearing up for war with the Romans and I don't even get a good fight. So pissed off about that. It is right to learn, even from the enemy. Interesting. Yeah. That's some good lessons that you don't normally get, isn't it? Now, who's hanging out for the afters? We've got Squeeb in the chat. Jungle Potatoes hanging out. It looks like it's a little bit better. I don't know. Let's attack another Roman and see if it crashes. Look at these 3 massive armies set up. Fuck, it's so bad. It must be a Steam issue. I haven't changed any settings. I'm just going to turn brightness all the way down. Yeah, it's just, it doesn't really change the flashy issue. It's weird, isn't it? It must be a Steam problem. It looks very strange. What time is there to learn post-battle? See if it crashes again. Oh, it only works on Rome. Interesting. It's only a problem, sorry, when I attack Rome. I wonder if that'll stop it from being a problem now. Alright, let's see what the announcements are. War. War. The House of Julii. War, SPQR. I've been outlawed by the Senate. The Senate of Rome, acting in the best interests of Rome and the noble citizens, have declared your faction to be outlaws and no longer worthy of the name Roman. You are now an enemy of all Romans. The Senate also sends you the curses of the gods. All right, it's happened. Right, they want to fuck. They want to fuck around. Let's find out then. Let's see what happens. It's on, boys and girls. Yeah, the game's not handling it today. Let's see if it crashes again. It's probably because Rome City model is massive. It looks like you need to take the Senate now. I will. I just don't want it to crash again. Look at how crappy he is. Nah, so that glitch is gone. That's interesting. I wonder what happened before. He's gonna wipe out the Senate. This will be fun. Take that, Senate. You bastards. General! You know, like, even the music's not working. Can you guys hear anything? I can't hear anything. General! Maintain the siege, sir. I'll do all the sound effects for you. I'm laying siege to the Scipii, SPQR, and the Julii all at one crack. I'm gonna take the I'm gonna take Italy. I'm just gonna do it in like one foul swoop kind of thing. I've got other armies coming up. I've been prepping for this for ages, as you would probably know. I've been ready for this, man. This is what we've been waiting for. Heard nothing on the startup though. Yeah, you're right. I wonder if I could just save it, and if I restart Steam, I wonder if that'll help. It's so annoying. I love the music. It's like one of the best parts about playing this game. Let's be honest. General. Are there Steam updates that you have to run? I wonder if that's the problem. Check for updates. Let's see if that's a thing. It's already up to date, it says. So I don't know what's going on. Let's quit Steam. I can't figure this out. I just want to kill some Romans. This is bullshit. Yeah, I'm going hard, man. I don't know. That's a good question. That audio is working. That was working. You can hear that. The people's voice is dangerous when charged with wrath. Aeschylus. Is that how you'd say that? Aeschylus. Nah, it's not the day for it. It's not happy. But at least the music's back. That's what I want. Right, so we got Rome under invasion. And I guess we got to take the rest of the peninsula. Do I have any other armies? No. Recruiting. not recruiting. That's interesting. Recruiting. Recruiting. I guess we'll see how these battles go, shall we? See how the Romans respond. Let's do this. Yeah, like I said, who's hanging out? We got 4AS, Squeeb, Jungle Potatoes. Look at that. It's struggling. Oh, we're going to get a battle. Yeah. That's a bold move, man. This guy's really bold. Triarii. Alright, let's see how the Romans fight, shall we? Let's see how this goes. Fuck, it is struggling. Like, it's not even my computer. My CPU's, like, I'm monitoring it, looks fine. It's not even hot as it usually is. Usually it's hot as fuck. Must be a Steam issue. I swear, technical issues are just fucking me up at the moment. I'm gonna make my own theme park with blackjack and hookers. You know what? Forget the theme park.
This is a day of battle. While we stand together as units on my orders.
No, it's still happening in the gameplay as well. Damn. I thought the battle might be saved. And it's just on the top. Where are they coming from? The city was there. I'd do that. Get the uphill advantage.
Archer Auxilia. Units! Units! Double time! Archers. Onagers. Run! Onagers. Hurry! Archer Auxilia. Archers. Archer Auxilia. Archers. Archer Auxilia. Units! Move! Move!
Yeah, it's got cavalry. Yup, sweet. Alright, shall we? Let's see what they got. Me, I am crazy, or is it just another definition of socialism? I just think it's uneducated misusing the terms, but am I wrong? I'm glad to say, but like, I don't even know what Ron's definition of socialism is. Like, we can't even agree on what fascism is. Apparently, I'm wrong on fascism. So, I don't know if it's much of a definitional issue, as much as it's just, we are wrong. We're just wrong in our interpretation of everything, really. We should be kind of ashamed of ourselves for that. If I can say it like that. If that doesn't sound like too dismissive. We're just wrong about everything. Yeah, stigma. That's a good way of saying it, isn't it? It's definitely a stigma issue. Oh, hate. That's fucked. You bastard. It's not loading properly. It's gonna be hard to play this. No, it's not working. Being called a Nazi has the same stigma. The evil gambling monster has enslaved your mother. I call him Gambler. Yeah, I just don't think the Steam account is working today. I wonder what is going on with this game. I'm bailing. It's not working. I can't play the game like that. It fucking pisses me off so much. At risk of sounding like the guy who is talking to someone he knows nothing about, maybe getting caught up in all of those definitions is just nitpicking. Fundamentally, we should be looking after each other and excluding nobody. If we can all agree on the fundamentals, I think it's a solid start. I guess that's the point of what we kind of do here, isn't it? Ninja Nurse. Like, that's why, you know, like Ron comes along. Like, we do try to entertain people and like not be douchebags about stuff. And like take on other people's opinions. But I don't know if Ron is really taking that part seriously. Like, I don't know if he's actually trying to understand the other like definitions of things. Like, what was the actual discussion going on when we were finishing off the last video on the Nazi symbols? Voltaire, what was your definition? What was Ron's definition of socialism? Can you try and find what CPU your MacBook has? I might be able to find something to help your frames. I don't know if it's the frames. Like, the last few days we've been playing it, and it's fine. This was happening like 2 weeks ago when we were playing, and then the problem resolved itself. Let me just tell you the specs of the Mac that I'm working on. So the processor is 2.3 gigahertz 8-core Intel processor. The graphics AMD Radeon Pro 5500M, so that's 4 gigabytes. I don't know if this means anything to you. I think it should be fine to be able to play this game. I'm honestly, like, the way that it was screwing up before and kicking me out of the game, I think there's a problem with Steam at the moment. It's just my luck. I just wanted to kill some Romans. What's your RAM? 16 gigabyte. To, I don't know if these numbers mean anything to you. 2667 MHZ DDR4. That's the memory. Don't know if it, all those numbers. What's your MAC address? Get fucked. Tell me the serial number. Give me your IP address. Yeah, township. Yeah, that sounds like it should run. Yeah, like, honestly, something's happened with Steam because I was setting this up. I was having a crack last night, and like I kept on trying to kill Rome, or like attack Rome at least. I just wanted to lay siege to them, and it just kicked me out. That should be plenty of power to run Rome. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Fucking Steam. But Steam is just really unoptimized for macOS. Yes, I have noticed. Oh my god, I have noticed. Last name, address, list of fears. Yeah, look, Ninja Nerds, I gotta agree with you. I think at the fundamentals, and that's the thing, like, you know, someone like Ron, if you're still here, Ron, like, pipe up, please. But someone like Ron, like, what are you getting at by being? That's why I was asking him why he's an anarchist. Like, why is he hate? I don't know, people that are satanic and all that sort of stuff. Oh, Mac OS. Yeah. Like, you know, what's the real end goal here? And like, I want Heroes 3 for Mac. That would be sick. Heroes of Might and Magic, I'm assuming you're talking about. Take me back, Ninja Nurse. Take me back. But yeah, like, what's the fundamentals? I think the thing with, socialists or Marxists or commies or whatever, like, most people kind of agree that there is an issue with the way things are operating and they want to make society better than where we're at the moment. And that's the fundamental thing. It's great for video editing, but not for running games. Yeah, it holds up quite well with my video editing. It runs Premiere Pro pretty well. Not that I do as much video editing these days as a streamer. But yeah, it's definitely not a gaming setup, is it? Some people's understanding of anarchy is just anti-government. Yeah, like the sovereign citizen thing. That's why when we were watching that guy, Desi Freeman, like, all I could think about was like, this guy's just an anarchist. He just doesn't like the state. Like, there's nothing new about that. It's just like low-brow version of it almost. Like, at least anarchists had some real philosophy behind them. Like, they wanted to see the state disappear because of their understanding that the state is the thing that allows people in power to suppress other humans. Without a state apparatus, you really can only you can still oppress people, but like, they got to be like people around you. Like, maybe you can suppress your kids or something like that, or your friends, but like, you're not going to get the ability to suppress an entire population and commit genocide without a state apparatus. No way. You won't be able to be a serial killer and kill people around you, but you're not going to be able to be a serial killer who gets, an army and a secret police and all the other trimmings that come with, like, the state. And so, like, they have a really solid outlook on how social organization works, whereas someone like a sovereign citizen it appears to me just to be a way to address very current issues legally. It's just like, well, I believe in the ideas of sovereignty, and show me where it says that the Crown really should own Australia, or the Crown should own any of the old colonial territories. Where's the paperwork that proves it? And if you can't produce it, then, I don't want to be part of your system anymore. PC Master Race. Still winning. It's the Master Race. Far out. You purist, you, into your computer eugenics. I just get the feeling the use of socialists and Marxists is just how you see uneducated content creator use the term when insults anyone that culturally align with the online left culture. LOL, I'm too tired to type correctly. Knackered as fuck. That's a good word as well. Knackered. It's a great word. Yeah, maybe I'll play Heroes. You're making me think now, Ninja Nurse. Be right back. But yeah, I know what you're saying. I think it's just a dog whistle. But I was hoping that Ron, we've given Ron, plenty of opportunity to speak, plenty of, even like, room to share his propaganda. I thought he would have more of an open mind about things as opposed to being rammed in by his own kind of definitions of things and then double down on that even further. I thought there'd be more room for dialogue. It's just unfortunate. I'm going to have to go through the chat and see what Ron was actually saying. Socialism worked perfectly in Stalinist Russia, Maoist China, and Pol Pot Cambodia. Commies here don't understand. Heck, they don't even like being called commie. America is completely satanic. Oh my god. That gif. Who are they from, Ninja Nurse? Are they like the lizard people ones? The people in the swamps and stuff? That's crazy. I guess Ron's left us. He might be able to fill us in. We also need to put some effort into the channel soon. If I have emotes I can use in other chats, it can help draw people over. Oh yeah. If you highlight emotes, you can see the channel it comes from. Ah. And you're speaking to there from Twitch, right? From Twitch World. I missed a ton of what from Ron, as I didn't realize I had my chat set to the top instead of all. Lizard or liberal people? They were lizard people. Yeah, in the swamps. Yeah, the swamp. There it is. That's so good. Such a basic game is so fucking addictive. So addictive. You know, this is the first time. Yeah, you'd be surprised how well it can work. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm gonna have to investigate that when I get my downtime. You know what? I'm gonna write that down on my list of things to do. Come up with some good suggestions already this week. The ad blocker's working so well. I really liked FreeTube though, but the ad blocker's doing well. Yeah, add it to my fucking list. Even just your mask on a JPEG would be a good amount. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good point. Actually, while I've got some people that are here generally, I've been speaking to other people about this. The name of the channel. Can you find the channel if you search it? Heroes of Might and Magic was the bomb.com. Yeah, can you guys, when you try and search on YouTube, do you find the channel? Like if you just type in mystery or something like that? Because I've had a lot of feedback from people that are just like, I can never find your channel. And so like people have said to me, you need to change your channel name because I can never find you. No. Yes, but only if you search the exact name. Mystery turns up with other people. Yes. When I've told people recently, when they've asked me randomly, I just say type in mystery movement because of the hyphen on the movement, and then you find it straight away. But most people don't remember that. No, I remember it was quite hard when I was initially trying to find you. Yeah, it's a big fucking problem. It's a massive problem. I knew the question was coming. Was a smart channel name, but hard to know what to search for. Yes, I know. Yeah, it's pretty hard. I think I'm going to rename the channel. I've been putting this off for a while. And I did a rebranding ages ago because it used to be MR?E. And that was hard because I think the algorithm didn't like the question mark maybe. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to rename things. I think the biggest problem in the political environment is people are not educated of economic theories. People literally vote based on culture wars. Yes. Trying to educate in an engaging way is hard. Like, I'm not even trying to educate like Ron, though. I really don't mind too much what his political leanings are. What I'm trying to get across is that there are not differences, the opposite. There are certain similarities. You can believe that you're an anarchist. You can believe that the Vatican is Satan is in the Vatican or something like that. Fucking go for it. But if you believe that like all people that work around the world are being suppressed by people that are really wealthy and powerful, and the system is designed in that way, then like who cares what your other cultural matters are, whether you believe in abortion or whether you believe that like lizard people or something run, I don't know, the Fed. Who cares? Like, as long as you believe that we have a shared interest as a massive working class, then we can just get stuff done for working people. And like we could leave all the politics behind, like the culture war, the identity politics anyway. But like there's no acknowledgement that people have kind of some shared interest here or solidarity. It's just everyone that's ideologically opposed is just wrong. Poll that shit. Okay, poll. I said poll. Even now it's okay, but maybe display names are shorter, channel is longer and clearer. It's a good message. Yeah, it's a good message, but that's why I thought Ron would just like be down with that. Yeah, it's just about up and down. There's no such thing as left and right. Brad Padre is a channel that had a brand shift. Yeah, I've done it before. I've noticed YouTube censors channels that are certain political leaning. I follow more left-leaning channels than I do right-leaning. but I will get recommended right-wing channels very easily. Really? Because like I've heard right-wing people talk about this stuff and they're like, we're all shadow banned, man. We're all shadow banned. Mystery Incorporated. Steer clear of the corporate language as much as I can. Yeah, I've heard like right-wing people be like, I'm shadow banned, man. So like everyone believes they're shadow banned, I guess. Yeah, I found it only when I added movement. Yes. There is no culture war. There's a class war. The culture war only exists to distract us from this fact. Yes. Yes. And that's why, again, I hope that someone like Ron or whoever would be like, oh, look, we can all have a conversation. Like, who cares about the other stuff? Let's just agree on what we can agree on. And like everything else is arbitrary, really. It doesn't matter. We don't have to all, you don't even have to like each other to form some type of like solid movement where you can fight against a political adversary who is very, very much smaller than you, but obviously has way more resources and coordination. I'm searching on a different fresh account, searching mystery and selecting channels. Yours does not show up at all. Yeah, fuck. What about like if you typed in mystery movement? Does that work? Just say you're changing for the sponsors. I follow Tim Pool, Quartering, Avi Yemeni, and so many more just to see what they say on topics that I'm interested to know what the other side is saying. Yeah. Mystery search. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I'll do a poll though. What did you say? Ro raggy. Is that a reference to something? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I think I might have to think heavily about rebranding because, like, yeah, people can't find it. I do find the putting the movement in helps a lot. But yeah, emojis, Twitch emojis. Yeah, Mystery Movement, you're the first one. Okay, interesting. Mystery Incorporated Scooby-Doo. So maybe I gotta make sure that is more prominent. Play on words means you're splitting your market. It is mystery or mystery or mystery. Yeah, you got it. It's a good point. That is a good point because people don't know how to spell it either. Because this is just the French spelling of the exact same word, mystery. And that's why when you type it in, sometimes you get a lot of French stuff like Cirque du Soleil things. Just put a big Volkswagen behind you on the green screen. Yes, I'm sure that will help. The algorithm will like that. Start promoting me to people who are likely to buy. It could be because you talk controversial topics if that you mentioned in the chat, we could get banned. Less likely to be recommended. Yeah, I think that's something on it. My Facebook seems to think I'll be into transphobia and white purity culture. I'm like, excuse me? What? Like your algorithm has not got you down pat yet. Wow. Future sponsor. Yeah. Now we have to put some thought into this one. I'll do a poll as well. I'll come up with some options. Yeah, but people explicitly searching should still find it, even if not by random search. Yeah, I know, I get it. I get that. Yeah, they should be able to find it. Like, especially if people are going out of their way to search something, they should be able to get it on straight away. It kind of scares me that these things exist in public. What? What things? Exactly. Mm. I'm vegan and I get so many anti-vegan content recommended to me. What? What's that about? Maybe the algorithm is really stupid. It just sees vegan. And so it just goes hard. What is that emoji? I can't even see that. All right. Big meat getting in your head. Are you using tags properly as well? Yeah, I use tags. Like hashtags and like normal tags. I do use stuff. But like when I stream, it seems to work differently to like when you do video on demand stuff. So like I don't think that's the problem. And I even, you get AI assistants with all that type of stuff now. It's like having a whole research team. They also think I'm racist as fuck. Yeah. In OBS? Tags in OBS? Is that what you mean? I still think your tagline should be, are you left wing, right wing, or chicken wing? Yeah, you're none of them. It's a war. A poultry war. Yeah. No, I'm not using tags in OBS. I do things from the upload. So when I use Restream and like the various platforms, I use tags from within the platforms, not from OBS. I'll add that to my list. I'll look into that. But yeah, not to be discouraging, I just have found that tags, don't seem to make a massive difference to things. Unless you've got like long content that you expect to stick around in the algorithm for ages. But like streams, like people don't go back and watch streams in like 6 months' time. They kind of, just live events. YouTube is hard. I spent a year uploading a video every 2 weeks and still couldn't tame the algorithm. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Yeah, and I've tried various things over like the last 4 years. 5 years now? 4 years. But like streaming, I think I like streaming actually. Like I can do this. Like when I was, making videos, by myself and just hoping for the best kind of thing. Like I get actually some better views than I get now, but like it's just like completely isolated from your community and from like your people. But like streaming, it's like daily hangout sessions and we can talk about this type of stuff, plan for the future. Wear Hugo Boss suits as well. Thanks. I'll take that. I'll add that to the list. I don't have excess capital at the moment to buy Hugo Boss, but I'm sure that will help. That's how we got Groper Bro yesterday. He was searching the politics tag. Yes, and that's because I put the politics tag and I leave it in Twitch. So I definitely do it through the platform, but I don't do things through OBS. I don't know. I didn't know you could put tags in OBS. I have to put them through. I put separate tags on Twitch, separate tags on YouTube, like kind of thing. But I'm not sure if I can put metadata straight into OBS, but I'll have a look at it. Selling the high value stuff. It's also the stress. Manage what you can as a content creator. Yeah, definitely. And again, that's why I like streams as well, because before, like a lot of my time was just going into like editing, like making a script, filming, editing for hours, tens of hours, music, like whatever. And it's like, 20 hours of work, or I could just like stream for 20 hours a week, like kind of thing. Yeah, it's interesting how you think about where you spend your energy. Work smarter, not harder. But yeah, the name thing is a big one that I've been mulling over. Mine has a pop-up where you put your title and click the content wording. Mine has a pop-up where you put your title. Oh, right, yeah, in settings. You can change it through there. Appearance, stream, output. Yeah, I don't do it through that anymore, actually. Yeah, I used to do that back in the day. I'd set up the stream from there. Yeah. Before I got Restream. Used to do that. Yeah. Anyway. I wanted to play some Rome and have chats, but I think my Steam is fucked at the moment, so I have to report that one. And actually, you know what? It's just, it doesn't like Mac, right? Fuck the Mac. Nobody likes a Mac. So yeah, look, I'm going to leave it there. I've got to bounce. But yeah, thanks for hanging out for the afters. And thanks for coming for the surprise stream too. I didn't think I'd get a stream in today. I'm glad I tied up my loose ends and was able to do some streaming today. But yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out. You know who you are. My chat refreshed, so I can't really see everyone. But Voltator, Jungle Potatoes, Squeebalicious, Indoctrinathan, 4IS, people who are hanging out for the afters. Voltator, I think I said you. Hope I did. Yeah, thanks for coming along. Impromptu on a Friday afternoon. Ron was in here. How could I forget? That's all I've got on my screen here. But yeah, Ninja Nurse keeping us alive in the stream chat. I think Avalava was there as well for a bit in the stream chat. But yeah, enjoy your weekend. Get away from the clutches of capital. And enjoy the freedom while you got it. If that is you. And if you can't get away from the clutches of capital, I hope you get some type of compensation for that. Ooh, dilemmas. How could I forget? There you are. You got to use reels. That's where the short attentions and bulk numbers are. I do stuff on the side in the TikTok world and Instagram and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Have a good weekend. And we'll see you on Monday. And until next time, please remember, I am, you are, we are Mystery.